I mean, I have a beautiful story by India, by the way, because I worked quite a bit in India, and I was visiting Bangalore.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the Shetty, Dr. Shetty? It's a health city.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't, but I've heard a lot about
Okay,
it.
so I went to a health city. A fascinating, you know about the health city? You been there?
We're gonna talk about it a little bit next week.
Okay. Oh, you're actually going to talk about it. So you don't want to
next week.
Do you want me to spill the beans or?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, so I was in a meeting and this have you met Dr. Shetty? So it's quite a modest, gentleman was in the meeting, and at the end of the meeting he comes up to me and says, "Would you like to visit my clinic?" And I said, "I'd love to visit your clinic, but I'm actually busy." I'm doing other things. I don't have time to visit your clinic. I didn't tell him that, but I said I'm kind of busy. I was actually busy. I wasn't just being snobby. I was, I had a lot of things to do, and he wanted me to visit my clinic. So I didn't get. So I agreed to. I was going to go visit his clinic, and I went to see his clinic, and lo and behold, he wasn't there. So he sent his chief resident to come and greet me. And he said, well, this is a cardiac clinic. I'll take you to the cardiac post-op first, and we'll just see what's going on, and then we'll take you around the facility, whatever. So we go to the cardiac post-op, and it blows your mind off. There in the cardiac post-op are 80 kids that have just come off the knife that day. 80 open heart on kids that day. And then 30 or 40 whatever adults. So there was like 120, 110, 120 open heart surgeries that day. Okay? What do kids get open heart surgery for? Septal defects, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's something fairly simple, okay? And you just have to close the hole because otherwise the kid dies. And so that's what he does. He does that, and so he does huge amount, and it was amazing. The quality, you wouldn't believe the quality of what care you would get in there.
Is this the same Dr. Shetty that has the hospital chains in the United Arab Emirates?
No, that would be Reddy, I think.
It's Shetty, but
Oh, is it Shetty?
I
I don't think he has a clinic, because it's kind of a one-off thing,
Okay.
the Shetty one. It was really, I mean, you really wouldn't go into a U.S. intensive care area, which would have more than what we saw there. I mean, so it was really top of the end. Every kid that came off the knives had 2 or 3 nurses full-time on the kid, full life support for every bed. I mean, there was more intensive care than you would ever get in a U.S. setting. And then, it was process engineering was amazing. You move from one place, first day post-op to second day post-op to third day. Each one was a different type of care. And then after that, of course, the kids were released. Then we went to, hip replacement thing. They do 300 hip replacements a day, 500 cataract replacements per day. And then we went to the outpatient department. They do 4,000 outpatient patients per day. And the extraordinary thing was no waiting list. It was not like there were queues. It was there. I'm giving this as an example because we're talking about reform, right? Okay? So afterward.
One question here, do people pay to get this service?
So, okay, we're coming to that. So after I'd seen the visit,
Yes.
we go and see Dr. Shetty in his office, and I said, very interesting clinic you have, You could have told me a little bit about, when you invited me to your clinic, you could have given me a hint, what you were going to show me. And so we sat down, and I said, well, what can we do for you, the World Bank? And he said, well, I want to build another 14 of these. So he wanted some money. So, of course, for me, this is a good deal. I mean, I'm there to shovel money, and he wants some money, and it looked like a good deal. So I said, let me understand the business case a little better. I want to kind of, understand what's going on. I said, well, how do you pay for this?
They're bleeding money.
So as an economist, of course, the first question I ask is, how do you pay for it, right? So he says, well, actually, 65% of the kids that are here, we do for free. It's a social service. We just do it because, the kids need to have the care. And 30% of them, we charge them at cost. And so I said, well, what's your cost in India? He said, $2,000. So what's a bypass surgery in the U.S.?
150,000.
It's around 85 to 130, depending on the surgery. So they do it for about 2,000, and then I said, okay, 30 plus 65, that's 95. we're missing 5. So what happens with the other 5? And he said, oh, that's where we make our money.
Is it medical tourism?
So I wanted to see, so I said, well, can we see what you do for that 5%? I'm kind of curious what you do. And so he said, well, we don't usually show this, but you know, since you're the World Bank and I want enough clinics, you know, we'll make an exception for this. So he takes me into this thing that looked like the Star Wars control center. And they couldn't have put more equipment into this thing with more whatever. And there must have been 20 surgeons and nurses and they all whatever. And there was some rich guy from India that was getting a liver transplant. Okay? So I said, oh, that's very interesting. I didn't know you had capabilities in India for doing liver transplant because you know that's well known in Taiwan and Thailand, but not in India. I mean, I didn't know they did that sort of stuff. And he said, well, actually, we don't. So he said, well, you see there, the surgeon is in where?
Thailand.
No, Philly. Okay, the surgeon was sitting in Philly. So it's robotic surgery on liver transplant with the surgeon.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia.